hope you're well. When we're looking at the Great Depression, it's first important to look back to the period between 1880 and 1930. In that period, we see a lot of pull factors in the United States. The anti-Chinese legislation, like the Chinese Exclusion Act, the anti-Japanese sentiment with the Gentleman's Act, the Enganche system, the 1917 immigration law, all those created pull factors for Mexicans to come to work in the United States, legally or not, again, between 1880 and about 1930. So again, I repeat myself, in that period, 1880, 1930, we have a lot of pull factors, again, pulling people into the United States from Mexico. Obviously, in Mexico, you have push factors, the Mexican Revolution, poverty, political instability is taking place. But by the 1930s, we have the Great Depression in the world, in particular, of course, in the United States, and the pull factors are no longer there. In fact, now there's an anti-immigrant sentiment, anti-Mexican sentiment. Even President Herbert Hoover blamed Mexican immigrants for the Depression, for the collapse of the economy. So you have now, instead of Mexican work, now you have the Mexican problem, a term that appears in newspapers, in political circles. The Mexican problem in the 1930s is seen as a problem created by Mexican people in the United States. And you might find this interesting. The Mexican problem had three parts to it. Number one, the Mexican people were taking Americans' jobs. That sounds perhaps something that you have heard recently. The second thing to it is the Mexican people are public charge, that they take money from the American treasure box, if you will. And three, the Mexicans are criminals almost by nature. And we've seen that before, of course, in past discussions in the face-to-face class. So those are three components to the idea of the Mexican problem. Now, if you have a problem, it requires a solution, correct? And the solution in the 1930s was the Great Repatriation Program, where the idea was to send people back to where they came from. In particular, of course, Mexicanos who were being blamed for the economic collapse or being rounded up and sent back to Mexico. But the problem is that many of these people were actually American-born or legal U.S. residents. And so this is considered to be a great violation of our Constitution, since, again, U.S.-born citizens were being deported as part of this massive deportation called the Repatriation Program of the 1930s. They were very difficult times. Yet we also see other examples of resiliency. By now you have seen the film, The Lemon Grove Incident, where families that were being segregated fought against segregation in Lemon Grove, California, here in San Diego. I hope you're enjoying the material, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.